Okay, we'll try this instead, shall we? We'll see if YouTube wants to cooperate. Good evening, everybody. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I was experimenting with streaming in 4K resolution, so that's why I think I overloaded the encoder. It's a problem I've had a lot with the Outer Worlds, so I've had to increase the Outer Worlds to 4K in order to make it work. So I thought I'd try OpenTTD at the same resolution, and it didn't work. But stuff it. Anyway, welcome to tonight's stream. I just went back to the basics, stuck it back in 1920 by 1080. Good stuff. People can hear me. That's always good to hear. So, welcome to this evening's stream. Few things I want to get out of the way before we start. All good though, so don't worry. The first one being, what I don't understand, right? This is the segue. This isn't what I was going to say. Why is it 1920 by 1080 is a pretty standardized format for resolution? You know, it's what most monitors come in these days. It's what most web browsers use. It's what most video file uses. So why is it not optimal for YouTube? I don't get that. Please check the video resolution. The current resolution is 1920 by 1080, which is not optimal. So what is optimal? Like, it doesn't tell me what is optimal. It just tells me what isn't optimal. That's not helpful. That is not helpful. Anyway, we are here. We're back on the M4J network. And I really should start the stream ASAP because we've got lots of cool things that we're going to be doing tonight. First and foremost, though, thank you once again, everyone who helped me reach 1K last week. At the time of me starting this stream, we are still at 1K. I'm just checking again. Yep, we're still at 1K. A couple of times we've jumped up to 1001 and then dropped back down again. The next thing is, I've already mentioned it, so I'll mention it again. The Outer World series started on the channel this week, 9 PM UK time every weekday, and will be for the next few weeks until the game is finished. Viewing figures are a little bit low for that though, so anyone who wants to see me stumble my way through an RPG game for a change, feel free to check that out. And again, I know there's lots of people that are going to say, oh, it's not really the kind of game I'm interested in. But then my argument for that is always, you don't watch it for the game, you watch it for the creator. And that's what I do. That's how I found loads of new games that I never thought I'd find myself playing. But again, you know, personal opinion, personal preference, and all that kind of thing. The next thing is, as Josh has already asked me, as George has already asked me, yes, I have seen the video with the 701s. I think they look much better than the other Adventurers. Buffering. I hate that word. I hate that, especially when you're streaming. I hate that word. I'm not getting any frame drop at my end, and YouTube isn't flagging anything. I'll check stream health. Yeah, as of right now, it says stream is healthy. Excellent connection. I can't change the resolution again now without stopping and starting the stream again, so I'm going to try and avoid that if possible, but keep me updated. Keep me updated. Yeah, as George has asked me, the 701s, they look a lot better than the other Adventurers. The 345s are ugly looking trains. Even now, they're ugly looking trains. The 710s aren't much better. The what else? The 730s, I think they aren't that much better, although the livery helps them out a little bit. But yeah, the slightly flatter cab fronts on the 701s looks very nice indeed. So that's good. I think they've made a massive improvement to that. The livery as well looks really nice. South Western Railway's livery looks really, really good. So I'm quite pleased with that. So yeah, I think that'll be pretty good. It made me laugh a little bit when Jeff asked about the introduction date and was told summer. Was it summer? Mid 2020? And I just scoffed and thought, yeah, okay then, like that's gonna happen. We'll never know though. I might be wrong. But I'm not gonna hold out too much hope on that right now. Anyway, I'm just gonna put something in the chat really quickly. If it is buffering for you guys, you might have to refresh your page, because I'm getting nothing telling me that it's buffering. Yeah, I'm getting nothing telling me it's buffering. Some people have got it fine, some people haven't. If it's bad for you, refresh your page. That might fix it. If not, then I don't know what to suggest, I'm afraid. Only just come back. Does that mean you've missed everything that I've just said? That's not good. I spend half my life now trying to get OBS to work, and it really is starting to piss me off. It shouldn't be this hard. I had problems with Premiere Pro yesterday, trying to get that to work, rendering a video. Got problems with OBS when I'm trying to record the Outer Worlds, and I've got problems with OBS now when I'm trying to stream. Okay, so some people have to refresh, some people haven't yet refreshed, and some people have been fine the whole way. Oh, wow. What a mix. Okay, so if some people have had it fine the whole way, then I know that it's not at my end. Yeah, I know it's not at my end now, so that's... I can relax a little bit. Obviously, I want everyone to be able to watch the stream, but if it's not at my end, there's nothing I can do, I'm afraid. You'll have to try and fix it yourselves. What was I saying? Yes, we got a busy stream ahead of us tonight. Very busy stream. We're going to be doing... There's 3 things on the list, but in total, I think there's about 12 individual things that we're going to have to do. So the first thing we're going to do is place waypoints, upgrade and set speed limits on the route between Fort Flonwood Central and One Town via Buntbourne Parkway and Cadingbury Junction. So we'll be doing that in just a second. Next up is place waypoints and set speed limits for the southeastern main line between Buntbourne Parkway and Dendstone, which again we'll be doing in just a second. And then the final thing, and it's the reason why we're doing those 2 things, is begin trains on the first 2 cross-region services, which are Monningpool Falls to Dendstone Carneige via Gardcity Great Wintfield Airport. It's actually the other way around. It's Dendstone Carnegie to Monningpool Falls via Gardcity Great Wintfield Airport. And Dendstone Carneige to Sunington via Fort Flonwood Parkway and Cadingbury Junction. So that's why we're over here. This is Woolworth, by the way, for those of you who are new to the series. This is one of the major interchange stations on the Great Western Main Line out of Gardcity. So this station's going to get quite busy soon, because we're going to have 2... Is it both? I think it is both. I'm just check. Yeah, it is both. Both cross-region services will be coming through Woolworth. One from Monningpool Falls and one from Sunington. Actually, no, I don't think the other one will be. And actually, this is what I wanted to get people's opinions on. So, Monningpool Falls is that an HST I just saw? No. Monningpool Falls is up here, and it's on a little branch that comes off the Western Cross Country. I can't remember what this line was called now. It has a name. I just can't remember it off the top of my head. But this is Monningpool Falls here. These are the cross-country, cross-region platforms, and also the Great Western platforms. And then these are the Western Reaches North platforms, and also Western trains and things like that. Sunington is right up here, in the top corner. So I think the Sunington train is actually going to go up the hill here, and then it's going to branch off and take the cross-country line, but only as far as, I think it's Gowood. Yeah, here. And then it branches off and it heads towards Gardcity Great Wintfield Airport. That was one idea. The other idea was to continue it straight down this way to Gronville West and then eventually to Woolworth. But either way, it's going to end up going to the airport, Great Wintfield Airport. The other service starts at Monningpool Falls. It will come down this way and then it will go through Woolworth onto this new branch here, which will take it to Fort Flonwood Central, which is all the way over here. Through Fort Flonwood Central, then it'll do some more crossovers just over here. It'll probably go into the express platforms at Fort Flonwood Parkway, and then from here it will continue this way on towards Buntbourne and Cadingbury Junction. I'll show you what it does once it gets to there in a second. For the meantime, though, I'm going to head up to the airport, because once the Sunington train reaches the airport here, it's actually going to branch off the Great Western Main Line and it's going to go along this route here, which is the City North line or Northern City line. I've written it down in the description, you'll see it in a second. And it will basically follow the same route as Gardcity Connect trains do until we get over to Wrenston, which is here, and then from Wrenston it will run, I think, on the fast tracks down to Heninghall, and then from Heninghall down to Dendstone. The other train, you see there's a lot of planning involved here. Once it reaches Fort Flonwood Parkway, it will continue, again, like I said, probably on the fast lines, through Giranemes Cross, which it'll probably stop at. It'll probably also stop at Geffinghill. It's basically going to stop at all the main stations along the route. Gets to Buntbourne, it will stop here, and then once it gets to this junction here, it will diverge and it will head down this route. Again, probably on the fast tracks. And it will stop at the main stations all the way over to Dendstone, and it will arrive at Dendstone from the south. So if I remember correctly, this is... What did we call this route in here? Was it the central route? I think George named it. Can't remember. Someone named it. But yeah, here's where we meet up with the main Gardcity to Bar City route. And if we continue along this way, continue along this way, continue along this way, and then we get to here, where we then diverge up and into Dendstone. So one will leave Dendstone heading north, one will leave Dendstone heading south. And as we all know, Dendstone is the headquarters of the cross-country, cross-region network. Did I hear about the mishap at Leeds? If it's the HST colliding with the... Was it an HST? Yeah, it was an HST, wasn't it? Colliding with the 800. Yes. Someone mentioned it on stream last week and posted a picture of it, and it doesn't look good, in all honesty. Does not look good. Bit of a weird one, that. How that was allowed to happen, I do not know. Right, so let's do the first thing on the list, which is place waypoints, upgrade and set speed limits on the route between Fort Flonwood Central and One Town via Buntbourne Parkway and Cadingbury Junction. So One Town is actually on the route just north of Dendstone. It is here. And the reason it's One Town here is because this is where the line branches off and heads up towards Bathurst Street / Fort Mason, and then onwards into Cadingbury Junction, and then onwards from there to Buntbourne. Southeastern Main Line. Is that from the description? It might well be the Southeastern Main Line. I'm getting myself confused these days because I've got the Southeastern Main Line and the Gardcity Southeastern Main Line. So, yeah, confusion galore. Confusion galore. Is there no signal here? I'll put a signal here. Why is there no signal here? There we go. Right. So I'm gonna actually work backwards from One Town back towards Cadingbury Junction, because some of this line might need rebuilding, and I think heading this way will be the best tell for what needs rebuilding and what doesn't. Let's assume... What's the speed limit here? I've got that somewhere. I think it's part of the Great Eastern. So from Heninghall down to Dendstone. There it is. So where are we? One Town, One Town, One Town, One Town, One Town. There, 75. Okay, so 75 miles per hour is the speed limit up here. So we got this to go 65, 55. 55 is probably slow enough for this section. And then because of this tight bend here, if we have that be the one where it goes down to 35, then we just need one here. Like so. This tunnel I might remove to get some extra waypoints in there. I'll do that now. Actually, no, I won't do that now. I'll do it when I need to. And then when we come out, so it'll be 35, 45, 55, and then 45 again, if you're crossing over, into the station, So hang on. 45, 55. Let's say that's 65/45, depending on whether you're changing tracks or not. So here's going to be 65. So then if we go 75, 85, 90. I should probably be renaming all these as I'm going along. So we'll call this Mondingstone One Town. Here we go. You are going to be Buntford North. You're going to be Fort Mason South Junction. Maybe South Junction Approach, thinking about it. And then we've got Fort Mason North Fast 3, North Fast 2, and North Fast 1. Alright, sorry about that, guys. That's just my food delivery. So yeah, North Fast 1. So yeah, this stream is kind of a behind the scenes thing, because I always say in my streams it's probably not entertaining to watch me place trains, but I've kind of had the impression over the last couple of weeks that some people do in fact want to see that. So this is kind of the test bed for that, shall we say, as to whether you guys want to see it or not. It might be successful, it might not be, we don't know. I'll also hold my hands up and admit I made a bit of a blunder last week. I did say it on stream, but I didn't really consider the fact that there were people who wanted to watch last week's stream that weren't in the stream. So I waited until the next day before I published it, and a few people after the stream tried to watch it via the link that I'd posted, which reminds me, I should probably post the link on Discord this week. Yeah, so they tried to follow the link and it didn't work, because obviously the video had been set to private by that point. So I did drop the ball a little bit on that one. I'll hold my hands up. I won't be doing that this week. This week, as soon as the stream's finished, I'll just let it process and I'll let it publish itself like I've done in the past. So you won't have to worry about that anymore. Let me just post the link. There we go. Right. Where was I? So yeah, we got the North Fast there. At this point, we're heading at 90 miles an hour. Pretty much all the third rail speed limits are going to be 90 miles an hour. It saves myself some time. Going to shoot through all of this. Shoot through all of this. I was thinking, should there be a junction somewhere? So here's where the line to Cadingbury. So this is the main line between Gardcity and Gardcity, and then this is where the line to Cadingbury diverges. Maybe I should put something in here as well, but I think I'll do that some other time. What I am going to do is straighten this up a little bit. There we go. Because at least then, if I have to do it for one, then I have to redo all the speed limits for the other trains as well. So I might as well, or the lines, sorry, not the trains. So I might as well do it all in one go, off camera, some other time. But I think there should be a crossover on this line somewhere. And around here is a good candidate for that, although Cadingbury is just here. Maybe not on this section of line then, maybe a little bit further up. Right, signals. There we go. I'll remove these ones, and then here I'll just remove these ones like this. So yeah, last week someone asked me about my favourite train livery, and at the time I didn't really have a very good answer. But since then, I've been watching quite a few videos and realised there are quite a few liveries that I do actually quite like. So I feel like I should amend my answer to that. I think I said something like the Pendolinos in their original livery, which is fine. All South Western Railways liveries look very nice now, I have to admit. Big fan of those. The Networker in Network Southeast livery looks quite nice. Chiltern livery is also quite nice. On some units, not all of them, but some. I'm trying to think which ones it doesn't. I think the Networkers in Chiltern livery looks nice, but they've taken inspiration from the old Network Southeast livery, so that's probably why. In fact, is it Class 68s that Chiltern use? They look quite nice as well, and the Mark III sets. They do look good. I'm just trying to work out how many speed limit things I'm going to need here. So 45 miles an hour is the speed limit around Cadingbury, unless the train's going straight through, in which case I think it's 60. Is it 60? Hang on. Let's not guess. Let's actually work it out. Cadingbury direct line. Oh, it's 70. Okay, it's 70 miles an hour normally, and then 30 if joining track. So I need, what, 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think for now as well, I'm only going to do the fast lines. The rest are going to take care of themselves. Like, I'll do the slow lines as and when I have to, basically. Still trying to work out what franchise is going to use most of this. So obviously City Connect is going to use this line here into Cadingbury. But then I need to work out which franchise is going to use the line out of Cadingbury. These also need to all be named. So your Cadingbury East Fast 1. Oops. Cadingbury East Fast 2. Usual thing though, guys, let's get the conversation going. Especially as doing this on your own is quite annoying. I normally watch videos or have music playing or something, but when I'm doing it on stream I obviously can't do that. Cadingbury East Fast 4. Cadingbury East Fast 5. Cadingbury East Fast 6. T and Smits, good evening. Ha. Yeah, I mean, there's some real ugly ones. The 710s in London Overground livery, they look awful. And because there's a new livery that's been designed for the Adventurers, they've now gone back to some of the old or the Capital Stars. They are Electro Stars, but they're called Capital Stars because they have to have a different name for some reason. They redid the livery on some of those as well, and I think they're rolling it out across the entire fleet. And the first ones look really bad, but I think they've amended it slightly since, and it looks a little bit better. One of the things that Jeff's video highlighted was the fact that the 345s don't have yellow cab ends, they have just white. The Greater Anglia Adventurers have small yellow patches on the front. The 710s I think also have yellow on the front, don't they? Or orange, one of the two. And then the 701s have full yellow cab ends. Why have they made them different? I don't get that. The whole thing with removing the need for yellow cab ends was it was supposed to make liveries easier to do, and yet companies are still using them and not using them well. Yeah, they look a lot nicer without the yellow ends. LNER are going to put a complete HST set back into blue and yellow like GWR did. That's good. That'll look great when it's being scrapped. The HSTs shouldn't be going. You know, I'll keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. They should not be getting scrapped. There's nothing wrong with them. Absolutely nothing wrong with them. And I'm going to take out my frustrations on the town of Dayhill City by completely obliterating a line through here. So that's Dayhill City North. We're going to build another station over here somewhere. I held control. You all saw that, right? I was holding control. I just don't know what's going on with this. Alright, there's going to be the site of Dayhill City South. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then there's going to be a tunnel. So yeah, these tunnels are going to be amended slightly. Basically, this line is going to come out to about here, and then it's going to go along like this. I think there's space for a teeny tiny tunnel. Here's a question I had as well. Someone might know the answer. So, South Western Railways are now the proprietors of the Island line on the Isle of Wight, and they've announced that they're going to have new D-stock or D-trains operating on the Island line. Are they going to have their own livery, or are they just going to be South Western livery? Because I think the new South Western Railways livery on a D-train would actually look quite nice. I've not seen any concept art though, that's why I'm not sure. There probably was some and I just completely missed it. This tunnel is way too long, by the way. Right, watch now as OpenTTD messes with me again. There and there, except it can be one longer than that. There we go. There and there. Yeah, this looks a little bit nicer now. You know what's a bland look for the new adventures though? The C2C ones. Yeah, it's just plain white, isn't it? First group expect to announce the name of the West Coast franchise and livery. South Western Railway livery. Oh, there is a concept image. Okay, that's news to me. The Transport for Wales one looks a bit too similar to Greater Anglia for my liking, like the white with red trim kind of look. It just looks a bit too similar. I'm not saying that they're identical, although actually no, because Transport for Wales is its own thing, isn't it? I was about to say are they the same company, but of course not. That would be dumb. All right, new tunnels built, new line diverted. Happy days. I think I'm gonna hold control and get rid of those as well. I think we'll raise the land up from here. Yeah, that looks nice. Alright, and we're going to go island platforms. Dayhill City South. I like it when they name themselves. It makes life so much easier. 3, 4, 5. Done. Save. While it's saving, I'm going to have a quick drink. Yeah, some of these companies, they hire these, well, they hire their own concept artists is the first problem. And then once that's done, they then hire their own, like a media team / designers to actually do the liveries. I think they put too many resources into that and not enough resources into actually, you know, focusing on the important things like the timetable, actually getting stock in and running on time. You know, the kind of things you'd expect a company to be able to get together in order to run a railway. But again, it's just my personal opinion here. The one that really made me laugh to start with, they've kind of got their act together now, but West Midlands Railway, when they first came in, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to have purple and orange, and then we're going to have green and orange, and we're going to have, you know, this, that, and the other. And then it's almost like someone just tapped them on the shoulder and said, what services are you planning on running? And that's when they went, oh yeah, we're going to split it into two, we're going to do this. And then that's when they started like actually talking sense. But when they first released the liveries, I just looked at them and thought, these look awful. I'm still not a huge fan. Because didn't they change one of them? Wasn't it meant to be orange and purple, and then they changed it to yellow and purple? They might have even changed it again since then. It's not the best. It's not the best. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. Okay, Dayhill City should have room to regrow now. I apologise for the control mishap. Still don't really know what that was that caused it. I've had that a few times though, where I've held control and it's just not registered. It might be my keyboard. Who knows? But yeah, I think we've made amends with all this, and we'll do a little fund growth thing as well. You will be getting trains soon. You'll be getting lovely, lovely trains. Don't worry about it. The livery makes a difference in games. That's where it's kind of important. But then, I can't imagine many real-life companies are dictating their train livery based on who's going to use it in Train Simulator. I hope not, anyway. I really hope not. I like the colours West Midlands trains use. Half of them I like. I used to quite like the London Midland livery. Oh, that was quite nice. It fitted really well with the 350s. I don't know how well it looked on the other trains, because I don't really go to the West Midlands that often. But it did look nice on the 350s, going up to Crewe and Liverpool and places like that. So I need to get 6 waypoints on here somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I guess. There we go. So your Dayhill City South Fast 1. Dayhill City South Fast 2. Dayhill City South Fast 3. South Fast 4. Then we'll just do Wedham Fast 1 and Fast 2. Oh. Wedham Fast 1 already exists. Where's that? Am I renaming the right one? Oh, is it over here? Huh. We'll have to rename that then. So you're going to be South Fast 1. And you are going to be North Fast 1. And then you are going to be North Fast 2. And this one is going to be South Fast 2. Done. Right. My least favourite livery was Porterbrook Purple. That's 47807, 47817, 57601, and D9016. I think I know which one you're talking about. I think so. Yeah, I think it's this thing. Again, it's my personal opinion, so it's not, you know, factual. But train liveries can look really great or really bad. There never seems to be an in between anymore. Alright, yeah, we're going to reconfigure this junction a little bit as well. I think we're actually going to go with a pretty boring non-grade separated thing. Or are we? Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. I was about to say, or are we? But yeah, we are. So we're going to have to do some land reclamation as well. Basically, the plan here is going to be dip this down. Actually, we can go one tile further over to do this. We'll do it under the bridge, and it'll look a little bit nicer. So yeah, dip this down like that. You're then going to come out like this, and like this. This one's going to come out like that to make up for the gap. There we go. So yeah, you come under like that and like that. And then there'll be a little tunnel here that then emerges again here. That way we don't need any waypoints or anything like that. It can be a straightforward 90-90. Alright, so you can go there, you can go there, you can go there. You can then go there, you can go there, and then we don't need one here because we can just go boom, boom. You can then join back up with that and with that. And yeah, I think that does it. Get rid of that. Okay. I like they've branded it as two individual things though. I think it's smart. I think it's smart. I think it was mainly because people hated London Midland by the end. They didn't think it was particularly well run. They were kind of right. Let's be fair. They were kind of right. I think they focused too much on the London operations and not enough on the Midland operations. So I think they're splitting it into two. It was to make it easier to run operationally, but it's also, it's a bit like if you have so there was a farm near, well, it still exists. There's a farm near me that I used to go to a lot as a kid. It's like playgrounds and stuff like that. And then when the foot and mouth disease broke out, it kind of ruined the reputation of the farm, so they rebranded and renamed themselves. And it's almost like tricking people into thinking it's new, when really it's the same place they used to go to. So I think it's like that. You're kind of tricking people into thinking you are brand new, even though a lot of the time you're using the same trains, which the GP won't recognise, on the same tracks, at the same stations. Nothing on the surface is different but the name. And that, a lot of the time, is enough to trick people into believing that you are new and different. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that at the end of the day. If it's what people want to do, so be it. Let's just improve the little junction there slightly. So yeah, now we're going to, let me just check. So this is the, yeah, it's still the first step of tonight's stream. I have got food here, by the way. I've got some fries on a plate, so if you hear me chewing, I'll try and keep it quiet. But I apologise in advance, because we're currently having our kitchen remodeled, which is why the house is in absolute chaos. It's also why I've not been going to bed till like 4 AM most nights, because it's the only time of the day where I can actually do any recording, because there's quite a lot of loud drilling and stuff going on during the day. So yeah, things are a bit messy here at the moment, but it's only a couple of weeks, I hope, so nothing too major. But it also means I'm eating at strange times of day as well, so it's one of the reasons why the stream started a little bit late tonight, partly because of the experiment, but also partly because I was waiting for my food to arrive. But it's fine, no problems here. Oh, yeah, that's a good point as well, George. There is some future prep going on as well. Let me rebuild this as well. I don't know what it is. I've got some prejudice against rail bridges with the ends elevated like that. I don't know what it is. But yeah, we'll do this. So that, like that. And then tied arch bridge across and across. Also means I can make this curve a little bit nicer to look at now. Get a nice little effect here with the waterway underneath. I feel like we need to do something with this waterway. I've probably said that in the past as well. One signal was about there, I think. The other one was about there. Okay, so coming out of the tunnel, we've got these waypoints, which I'm going to move, if I'm able to. Almost can. Do a little bit of landscaping here, shall we call it? Let's be euphemistic about it. There we go. So I could fit a couple of waypoints this side of the tunnel, and then a couple more on the other side of the tunnel. That helps me out. And this is where I was at one of the crossroads regarding where to run trains, because if we follow this line downwards, we actually go to Monningpool. First of all, this will get tidied up. I think this line will come straight... Oh, actually, it can't really, can it, because of the slope. Maybe after the tunnel here, it will go straight across. Something like that. But I didn't want to run any trains to Monningpool yet, because that's another lot of speed limits and things we have to do. Here's the new Monningpool Paragon. Plus, this line hasn't been built yet. I have a feeling that will be part of it in the future. And I've already forgotten where this one goes. Oh, yeah, I know. This is the old cross-country line, which I think this one is the one that's now the central line, or the central main line, which is why it's got central in that station name. Again, if I'm wrong, I'm probably wrong. Alright, now we've got room for these proper waypoint setups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your SE slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. SE slow. So you must be SW slow. Yep. Like that, which means we can get rid of these ones. So we can put one there, and we can put one there. So that actually gets the train up to speed perfectly. And then one here. Just check they are different. Yep. And yep. Same thing here. That's not what I wanted to do. So you're southeast fast. And then you are southwest fast. And then we could put another one there, another one there. And you there. You there. Like that. That instantly makes that nicer. So yeah, the cross-region train's going to come in from here on the fast line, and then it's going to go into Bumpbourne, and then from Buntbourne it's going to depart, cross over onto this line, and then head towards Fort Flonwood. So we need to rename these. We also need to add the extra waypoints. 1, 2, 3. Are we going to be coming in at 90 here? We're probably not, actually. Probably going to be coming in at 75, so we can get rid of these ones. Might as well add that one. We don't need to name it yet. And then here we can go 85, 90. So let's call this Hayfingford Fast 1. And Fast 2. This is going to be... So wait, it's this one we want, isn't it? So you're going to be Southeast Fast 1. Southeast Fast 2. Southeast Fast 3. And then this one, Buntbourne, Southeast Fast 4. Okay, and then on this side, coming out of the station, we'll have a waypoint there, Sarnton West Fast 6, 5, 4, 3. Move this signal over one. 5, 4, 3. And then over here, 2, 1. So your Sarnton West. Actually, why are you called? Let's call you Buntbourne. Northwest Fast 6. Actually, we'll change you from 6 to 4. 3, and then here will be 2. Here will be 1. While I'm doing this, how many people have watched 39.5, episode 39.5? Went up on Tuesday, I believe. The rebuilding of Drentbourne and of Waterside. Alright, that's that done. I think... Oh, there is a crossover here. Well, there you go. That's answered my question I was about to say. Now, let's see. 90, 85, 75, 65, 55. Ah, perfect. Even though we're not actually going to be switching tracks here, it's still nice to have it all set up and ready. We only need 3 on the slow lines anyway, which we've got. And here we've also now got. So you're going to be Slinville Junction East Fast 1, 6, 5, can't count. What do you guys think of it? I kind of miss doing those videos. It's nice to do them every now and then. Slinville. Three. Two. One. Slinville Junction West fast 5. Four. I think that my favourite one out of them is Waterside, because that one was kind of a lost cause. When I first looked at it, I kind of just thought, how did I end up building it like this? Because I think when I built the station, the tracks weren't configured the way they are now. I think it was like the fast tracks were on the inside and the slow tracks were on the outside, whereas now we've got the pairs of two. So it the station didn't fit the track configuration. So you know, what's the word? Shifting things all over the place to try and make it work was a bit impractical. So I kind of just rebuilt the station as it was and then changed the approaches to match. I kind of like the result. Oh God, I was on a roll with my typing just now, and it's all gone to pot. Okay, that's that done, and then we'll shoot through Gironam's Cross over here. Did I name these? I did. That's good. That's excellent. So then, yeah, we come into... This needs renaming. In fact, were these named? Yeah. So you're Fort Flonwood Parkway through. Which you're not actually going to be using yet, but it's nice to have it set up ready. So Fort Flonwood Parkway is going to get an additional service coming through soon. You haven't been named yet. What was the speed limit going to be through here? And also, is this train going to stop at Fort Flonwood Central? Or is it going to continue straight through? Either way, these crossovers here need to be extended, which means we don't really have a need for this. Yeah. Out of Munfingford, Beffingway, Drentbourne and Waterside, what is your favourite station design and why? Oh, that's a very good question. I tell you what, I need a break from doing these speed limits anyway. So we've pretty much set up the waypoints now. So all I've got to do is go onto the speed limit charts and add them. And I think... Oh, actually, no, I need to stop the stream to do that. I was about to say, I think I can add what I'm doing. I might be able to. Hang on a second. Let me experiment with something. So if I go here and just add a display capture. Alright, let me take that off for a second. Okay. Properties. So I need to do display. Oh, there we go. Display number 2. Aha! And you will be able to see it. So I need to crop it a little bit. God, I can't remember how to do this now. It's like filter. Is it filter? Crop. That's what I want. And then we'll get rid of the right hand side. The wrong way. So what is this actually doing? I don't know what this is actually doing. Let's get rid of the top. Yeah, this isn't doing what I want. There's a way of doing it. I know there's a way of doing it. So I want to crop off. Give me a second. Give me a second. I just want to remind myself. How to do this. I'm trying to get Google Sheets up on the stream so you guys can actually watch what I'm doing. Cropping, cropping, cropping. Oh, this is one of those tutorials that doesn't actually tell you how to do it. That's nice. Screen crop. Aim precisely at the center of any red circle, the bounding box of the source. Huh? What's this ultimate? Oh, hang on. I think I know what it's telling me to do. Yeah, okay. Move this in the center. Okay. Now if I make this bigger and put it up here. So I'm about to switch the sources. Tell me if you can see this. Alright, and then I'm just going to remove that for a second, transition back. Reason being is so I can check the chat. Not just see it, but can you read what the cells say as well, or is it too small? Or pixelated? Alright, awesome. We got that working. So yeah, what were the choices? Munfingford, Beffingway, Drentbourne and Waterside. So let's just pin this so I've got a way of getting back. So again, for those of you that are new and don't know what George just asked me, oh god, just crashing. Too small to read. I'll try and make it a little bit bigger then. I might get it to cover half the screen. Oh, won't let me resize it now. There it is. I'll do me best. I will do me best. That's all I can promise, I'm afraid. Now, why has it done that? Okay. So yeah, Beffingway. God, this is Gardcity slowing down my PC again. Come on. Out of Gardcity. Beffingway is a major interchange station up on the Grand Northern mainline, which is all the way. Can you imagine that the railway used to come down here? You can't even see it anymore. This is where it used to join up. Now it goes through this new bit. Looks much nicer now. I love doing little rebuilds like that. I used to hate doing them, but now that I think they're my favourite thing to do in this series. It's just to go around and rebuild things. So this is Beffing Way, right here. This is the first major rebuild that we did. And I quite like Beffing Way. It's not reached its full potential yet. And again, there'll be another cross-region service that runs through here and then turns south towards Dendstone. There might even be a cross-country service that comes through here as well. So this is the first candidate. The next one is Monningpool, which you've already seen, but I'll show you it anyway. That's not the way, that's this way. Monningpool I also like. The reason I'm not a huge fan of Monningpool is the platforms are a long way away. Can you imagine if you get dropped off by a taxi here and your train's leaving from this platform here? It's a long way to go. But that's because of these central through tracks, which we had to include. So it's not a problem with the design so much as it is a limitation of the game. So I'm not blaming the design for that. I also like the fact we got the asymmetrical bridge design. We got underpasses on both sides connecting things up. It's kind of like Stratford in that sense. So yeah, this one's good, and then the station building looks very nice as well. Then we've got Dendstone and Waterside. So Waterside, good question actually. Where is Waterside in relation to Monningpool? It's this way. So here's Waterside, and I like Waterside because again it's asymmetrical. It looks very good. It's got the different passing places over here. The fact it's got two main lines running into it as well always helps. It looks alright. I'm quite happy with it. But I do think my favourite one so far is Dendstone, because it just works. There's something about the design that just makes it work. Yeah, I do like this. I think having the covered platforms always helps, makes it look a lot nicer. Okay, here's what I need to do now then. I need to split the chat and move it over here for a second. Reason being is so that if I go on to speed limits, you can see what I see. I'm going to transition again. Let me know if you can read it, if it's legible or not. Here we go. So I think the problem is I'm stretching it now more than anything, so I'm making it harder to... Yeah. So I've cropped it. Whoops. Now you can't see it at all. There it is. So I've cropped it and then I've enlarged it. So you might be able to see it, you might not. I've also got to remember that the whole right hand side of the screen now pretty much is covered up, so you won't be able to see that. Can read that. That's good. That is good. Right. Excellent news. So the train's going to be running from Dendstone to Monningpool Falls. That's what this one is. I've got to remind myself. So we've got the service schedules here as well, which hopefully you guys will also be able to see. So cross-region. Dendstone Carneige to Monningpool Falls. This one runs via... Yeah, this is the one that runs via Fort Flonwood Parkway, Fort Flonwood Central. We might change some of these stops. I just want to check. Yeah, it looks like you can see this as well. This is good. This is going to change the streaming from now on. Being able to actually show you guys what I'm doing on Chrome. Oh crap, we haven't even done any of this stuff yet. Did I do the wrong line? No, I didn't, did I? Because we're running via Cadingbury. So this service that we're looking at here used to run via the old route, whereas now I think I might redirect it down the new route. I thought Dendstone is what you'd say. You seem to like that one the best. In terms of the designs, I liked Beffing Way more, but in terms of actual usage, I like Dendstone more. Mainly because Dendstone is a major station in terms of, you know, it's on the main line between Gardcity and Gardcity. So it's going to get a lot of traffic. Plus it also connects the north to the south and the east to the west. So it's a pretty big one. Yeah, here's the question. So we're going to be doing the speed limits from, not there, from one town over. I think we're going to end up with 3 cross-country services from this though. 2 going north from Dendstone, 1 going south. So this one here, this is the one that currently goes to Canal Street, but I think I might extend it up to Sunington in the future. But we'll do it to Canal Street for now. And this is the one that goes via... oh no, this goes via Monningpool. Okay, we're changing this. We are changing this for definite. Where are we? We need to go over to Dendstone, which is over here. So from Dendstone, both trains are going to head north. So this first one is going to stop at... Let's see. I need one town on this list, and it's not. Mind you, Cadingbury isn't on this list either. And we will add a third one in at some point. We should have time to do all this. We might even have time to timetable it all as well. We shall see. So yeah, the first stop out of Dendstone, you're going to run up this way. So I guess maybe here, Reborn. We might even stop here, Flonwood and Ponfing. But I think we'll do that. It's a relatively big station. The second one. So then Reborn was the next stop. There, and again I think this one will do the same. Reborn. Then Drenning head east, which is all the way over here. It is only one end, isn't it? Yeah. And then, so where does this one go? Drenning head east, Tarnville. Oh, so you branch off here. Okay, so you run down through Monningpool. So yeah, both of these now are going to be redone. Let's have this one then be the... No, no. So I keep talking myself in and out of things. You might have to ignore me. So let's have you stop at Grudtown next. And then after Grudtown, you can still see what I see. Yeah, good. Maybe Bunway? Nah, one town next. Okay, and then after one town, you're going to be stopping at Mondington. There's a T in Mondington. Okay, then Bathurst Street. / Fort Mason. Then the next stop is going to be down here at Rimpledon. Then Cadingbury Junction. Oh, we might have some bitrate issues. I like how it tells me that the bitrate is too high. Like, why is that an issue suddenly? Surely being higher than it's meant to be is better than being lower than it's meant to be. I don't know. This is the route to Buntbourne, isn't it? Yeah. So then Sarnway. Yep. Skip Buntbourne Town. Buntbourne Parkway next. Then, is it Gerinham's Cross? No. Geffingham City. And then Gerinham's Cross. Yep. Then Fort Flonwood Parkway. Fort Flonwood Central. So let's just quickly copy, paste. Fort Flonwood Central, and then are you an all-stopper? Slanting Head, Huntfield. Yep. So I think you're an all-stopper down this bit. And then you get to Woolworth via this connection into Woolworth. Then you stop at Canal Road. Then you stop at Gronville West, not Gronville East. So there, and then at Plunningville, Brynbourne, Monningpool Falls. Where's Brynbourne? There's Brynbourne. Okay. So then if I do the waiting times here as well. How long? 45? 45. And then 2 minutes there maybe. 2 minutes there maybe. 5 at Cadingbury, 5 at Buntbourne, 5 at Fort Flonwoods, 5 at Woolworth, 2 at Gronville, and then 0.5 elsewhere. Seems plausible, should work. So now I'm going to focus on getting the speed limits done for this section of the line, so we can get this first train going, and then we'll worry about the second one. So if I hop over to the speed limits here, we have the southeastern main line, which I need to change here. If you're wondering what colour I've used for this, by the way, I've used the XVI Company yellow because I couldn't think of any other colour. And I knew I had to use something, so I just went with that. Wow, PC really struggles sometimes zooming out and then scrolling. So I now need to follow this route all the way back to here. So the route between Fort Flonwood and Woolworth, I think the speed limit is going to be 60. So if you say it's, I think it's 30. Hang on. I did do Gardcity Fort Flonwood joint. There it is. So I think into Fort Flonwood is 30. Yeah. So then it'll be 40, 50, 60. Makes sense. So the southeastern main line, we need to do another one. Duplicate this. We'll call this... What was the line between Fort Flonwood and Buntbourne going to be called? Does anyone remember? I'm sure we had a name for it. If we didn't, I'll make up a name now quickly. Don't forget, really bad plug, but if you become a patron on Patreon, you get to name or rename a mainline route. Anyone remember? I might just make up a name for now then. I'll call it that. Fort Flonwood and Bumpbourne Railway. Change colour. I don't know. 1A, 1B, 1C. There we are. With a white text, please and thank you. And you are also Fort Flonwood and Bumpbourne Railway. So we'll be starting, we're only going to do the fast lines for now. So we'll be starting at Fort Flonwood through / central. So then the next waypoint, need to place these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got a signal move here. One, 2, 3, 4. So let's say the speed limit on this section is going to be 75. So if you're coming through here at 60, you're then going to hit this and go 70, this one 75. And if you're coming out of here at 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75. So your Fort Flonwood, I'm just going to do FFC for now. South Fast 1. Two. 3. 4. 5. And then over here, 2, 3, 4. Gotta move this signal now. 5. So this one, FFP, North Fast 1. North Fast 3, can't speak. So yeah, if there's anyone who wonders what goes on behind the scenes when I keep saying about I've not been able to get trains out for this, that and the other reason, this is why. It takes a long time. And as you might have noticed, a train hasn't even appeared yet. This is all the setup, getting ready for that. So going back to the speed limit sheet, we can now go FFC South Fast 1, Fortunately, I've come up with systems to do this pretty quickly, but even so, it can take time. Having already named the waypoints makes a massive difference, because I'm not having to do that whilst I'm now doing this. For Flonwood, Parkway, through. We'll just do this. So the speed limits there we'll come back to in a second. Floodingville North Fast 1. And 2, 3. Then we've got Floodingville through 1, 2 and 3. Whoops. There we go. Let's keep the chat going, guys. Don't have to go silent on my account. If anyone has any questions about this process as well, feel free to ask them. I'm happy to answer them. Some people might think this is a little bit overkill, and I'm inclined to agree a lot of the time. But I like doing this when it works. It's a lot of fun when it works. Gironam's Cross. And then we've got the crossovers here. So it's Slinville Junction West Fast 1. Oops. Oh God. Two. 3, 4, 5. Then I can just paste the first one here again. Change this to east. And then copy, paste below. Change that to a 2. 3, 4, 5. Then we've got Geffingham City. Scroll down a little bit here. And then we've got the slowdown for Buntbourne. And what are you? Buntbourne, Northwest Fast 1. There's what, 4 of these? I'm actually going to rename this slightly. Fort Flonwood, Buntbourne, and whoops, Cadingbury Railway. Yeah, the speed limit thing here is mainly for my own reference. So I create a lot of template trains, and I'll show you what those look like in a second, which saves me a lot of time. This is something I usually only have to refer to once when I'm setting up trains. I don't know why I'm pointing with my hand. This is something that I usually only have to set up once when I'm setting out trains. And once I've done it once, I use the template train to copy and paste it and then amend it to whatever it is I'm doing. But yeah, I agree to an extent. It is quite hardcore. And when I first started this series, this was not the plan, believe me. But it's slowly developed over time, and it's okay. It's okay. So you're going to be Buntbourne Parkway through. There we are. Yeah, I'll be honest, George. I was expecting the branch lines before now, but from what you've said, it sounds like you've had a lot on your plate recently, so it's all good. Bunbourne Southeast Fast 1. Copy, paste 2. And what, 2 more? That should be number 4. Yep. And then we've got Hafingford Fast 2. And 1. So I know here it looks like the Bunbourne Parkway line diverges from this line, but it's actually supposed to be the other way round. My whole approach to speed is 100 miles per hour or it's not allowed on the track. This is where the realism initiative originally came from. It was nothing to do with rail originally. I was reading something to do with road traffic and road traffic management and how they actually get traffic to run smoothly on motorways. And it's all to do with speed management. So you might have seen, if you drive on the M25 for example, which I've done a few times, just randomly out of nowhere you'll get slowed down to like 60 miles an hour, 50, 40. And the reason they've done that is there's an accident or there's traffic up ahead, and it's slowing down the traffic enough to keep it moving, but also giving enough time for the congestion in front to clear. And that's why you can get slowed down to like 40 miles an hour. You'll drive like that for 2 miles, and then you'll get sped back up to national speed limit again. And it's quite clever the way they do it, and it's something I experimented on here. So if you have all your trains running at the same speed, it doesn't matter whether it's an HST or a Sprinter, they will go at the same speed, and therefore one won't get stuck by the other. Then once you have slow lines and fast lines, which we have here, the slow line top speed is 75 miles per hour, the fast line top speed is 90 miles per hour. It separates, so the fast trains can run a little bit faster than the slow trains. But on 2-track lines, you need this kind of speed management in order to stop trains getting clogged up. And it does work to an extent. The game doesn't quite simulate it properly, but it does work most of the time. Plus it's it's just geeky and nerdy, and I enjoy doing it. There's that element to it as well. Wedham South Fast 2. But, this is the most tedious part, is actually setting it all up. Once it's done, life gets a lot better. Dayhill City South Fast 4. But actually already, just by talking to you guys whilst I'm doing this, I've seemed to have sped up the process quite a lot. Because right now, we're at Cadingbury. And we've only got to do the short burst over to Fort Mason, and then we connect up with the Great Eastern line, and it's pretty much done. From Saturday 7th of December to Sunday 8th of December, Master Hellish is doing a 24-hour charity OpenTTD stream in aid of Macmillan Cancer Support. Starts at noon. I might have to check that out. I used to like Master Hellish a lot. One of the things that annoys me about him is he makes a lot of very easily recognizable mistakes, and then he does tutorial videos. Now, this sounds very pompous and elitist, so bear with me for a second. I'll do my best to explain it. I first found him because I didn't know OpenTTD existed until 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and he was the first person I found playing the game. So instantly I was like, oh, this guy's awesome. Checked out all his videos. Whoops, that's not the button I wanted to press. Saw that he did loads of tutorials, and I watched them all. And then I tried to actually do what he'd advised, and it didn't fit my playstyle. So what he does is great if you're a generic OpenTTD player. If you just play the game in order to move goods from A to B. He builds these massive networks and things like that. But in terms of what I wanted to do, he didn't really scratch the itch. So I stopped watching his stuff, which, you know, it's not. I shouldn't have done that really. I should keep supporting him because you know, he was the first guy I saw playing OpenTTD. Then I found Zest Husky, who does a lot more what I like to do, but still doesn't quite do it the way I do it. So it's really hard to explain. But it's the reason why my channel was started. It's because I couldn't find anyone else who played the game the way I did. So I just thought, whoops, dolt, did not mean to do that. So I just thought, if no one else is playing it the way I will, and I started my channel. Well, it's the reason I started my OpenTTD series. My channel already existed. Cities in Motion was my go-to series back then. Alright, now we've got to put the numbers in. So this is... what the hell's that noise? This is going to be 60, 30 if joining track, 70, 40 if joining track. Did I say it was going to be 70 the whole way through? No, 75, wasn't it? 50 if joining track, 75, 60 if joining track, and then 75, 70 if joining track. You're then going to be 75, 75, 70 if switching track, 75, 60 if switching track. So let me just get this. You're going to be 60/30. No, wait. You're going to be... yeah. I'm just going to... I'm going to do it like that. It's probably going to confuse some people. Normally I do the through first and then the station, but because Fort Flonwood Parkway is the name of the station and then you add through for the name of the waypoint. Yeah. In the Netherlands, though, it barely plays a role, as essentially all trains stopping an intercity run at the same speed, and the quality of the track is the main constraint. Yeah, like over here, the East Coast mainline, the top speed is out of London. It's 105, I think, on the fast lines, up as far as Potter's Bar, maybe slightly further south, and then it goes up to 125 or 115, one of the two. I can't remember the exacts. And then on the slow lines, it's 75. So sometimes when I'm getting the train to London, I might get lucky and get on a fast train from Hatfield that switches over to the fast lines, and at that point the train can run at 100 miles an hour, and we get there a lot quicker. Sometimes, though, it stays on the slow lines where it's limited to 75 miles per hour, and you get there a little bit slower. But something that the real world does that OpenTTD doesn't do very well is train pathing. So I take speed limits a lot more seriously in OpenTTD, because if I don't, trains will get bunched. Whereas in real life, they have a path for a train running at a specific speed, and they make sure that the next one behind it won't ever catch it. Unless abnormal circumstances, should we say. So what are you? You're 70, 40 if switching track, which means you're 75, 50 if switching track. Okay, yeah, that's about right. And then here I can do this again. Except you'll be 80, you'll be 90, you'll also be 90, and then here it'll be 90, 80 if joining track, and then you'll just be 90. And then from 90, well, I can do it to here anyway. And then you'll be 90, 80 if switching track. Actually, here, no. Here it's going to be 85 if switching track. 90, 75 if switching track. 90, 65 if switching track. 90, 55 if switching track, and then you'll be 90, 45 if joining track. This is where the pedantry comes in. Like these crossovers. In theory and in real life, there are a lot of crossovers that can be taken at full speed. But in the game, I assume that that is not the case. There we go, and then you can just do 90. And then here it'll be 90 again. 90. What is the speed limit at Buntbourne? Have we done that somewhere? Did we do it here? Looking for Buntbourne. No. I don't think we've done the down to Buntbourne yet. From Dinpool. No, we haven't. Alright, that's no problem. So you'll be 80 if switching tracks. What would be cool is if I could like find a way to plug this data into the game, so as soon as it enters a line, it'll just know what speed limit to go. But I think that's like impossible. So I don't think there's any way that I could get that to work. I don't think there's any way anyone could get that to work. That's way too ambitious. So actually you are slowing down here. You're going to be 70. You're going to be 80, because the speed limit through Buntbourne is going to be 60. Or 30 if joining track. And then here it's also going to be 60, 30 if joining track. 70. 40 if joining track, 80, 50 if joining track, and then 90, 60 if joining track, 90, 70 if joining track, 90, 80 if joining track. I can totally understand if no one wants to copy this method. It is a bit, you know, messy, shall we say. But once you've done it once, as I've said, you can copy and you can paste. And then you just do a few amendments. Like so. Done. Speed limits are done. So now, this line can accept trains. What we've got to do now, though, is the line between Cadingbury and One Town. So we'll duplicate this. We'll call this the Cadingbury East Railway. I have no idea what colour to make this. A1, B2, C3. That's not too bad, actually. That is not too bad. And then we'll scrap all... Actually, we can keep most of this. It's just these here that need to be cleared. Actually, no, we'll clear it all. Make it easier. If you're going to be Cadingbury Junction / through. Let me go back to this one a second. Here we'll do 30 / 60. I think it is the slow and then the fast in that order. I can't remember. So yeah, Cadingbury East Railway. So we got all the waypoints here again. So it's going to be Cadingbury East Fast 1 up to East Fast 6. This one won't take as long because it's not as long. Whoops. The route isn't quite as long. While I'm doing this, I do like the idea of template trains. I may steal that from you. Feel free. Feel free. East Midlands Railway has launched its December 2020 timetable change consultation. I was about to say it's November. Why are they doing it now? But okay. Shouldn't they have done that, the consultation earlier on in the year, though, while they still had a chance to change it? No? Would that not have made more sense? Rimpledon. Is that the only stop? Yeah. So there's no waypoints along here, is there? No. There might be in the future though, but I might just link the slow line here to the slow line here, and I might do it like just at the peak of this junction here. Might do. But yeah, that's what I was going to say. Oh, duh. 2020. Thank you, Frank. Yeah, feel free to just prod me there with dumb things that come out of my mouth. Depot site. That's what I wanted to say. We need a depot site somewhere near Dendstone. So anyone who has a copy of the map, have a look around Dendstone and let me know where a good site for a depot would be for not just cross-region, but also cross-country. Fort Mason North Fast 1. And there's what, 3 of these? Yeah. So here I'll just do it this way, and then we got Bathurst Street, Fort Mason. And then yeah, here's where things change slightly because it goes from 4 tracks down to 2. So this here is actually the end of the fast line. So we'll cover this, and then underneath this is a new set of speed limits. So then the next one is Fort Mason South Junction approach. It includes reintroduction of peak stops at Bedford, Wellingborough and Luton with EMR electrics to Corby. Half-hourly services to Corby. Are these the same services that were cut short last year because of the Thameslink changes? So I know there was some pathing issues related to that. All Nottingham trains will call at Kettering. What did I just put north again for? Just Buntford. And then Mondingstone. I promise you guys, we are nearly done. Mondingstone one town. And then right the way down here, we've got One Town North 1, One Town North 2. And then One Town. And that's this done. Just got to put the numbers in now. So out of Cadingbury, it's going to be 60, 30 if joining track, 70, 40 if joining track, 80, 50 if joining track, 90, 60 if joining track, 90, 70 if joining track, 90, 80 if joining track, and then just 90 to Rimpledon, 90, 80, 70, 60, and then coming out of here it's 60. What did I say the speed limit was here? It was 75, wasn't it? So it's 75, 65, 55. So it's 55 through all of this. .45, 35. So here, this corner here between Buntford and Mondington, the speed limit is 35 miles per hour. So then you're 45, you're 55. Oh, that does work. 45, 55, 65, and 75. Just like that, we're done. Yes, they're the same services. Good, good. It's kind of, I'm glad that they've got their acts together regarding that. I don't know why, whenever I finish filling in the speed limits on Google, I then go and save the game. I've not put anything into the game since the last time I saved it, but I just peace of mind, you know, peace of mind. So right the way down here now. Whoops, I always forget about Drenninghead. Here's Dendstone. All cross-region services will start from here. All cross-country services will run through here. So we need to set up a depot somewhere that will allow that to happen. Where's a good spot? Over here maybe? You get a nice clean run through. What do you guys think? Because in that way trains can enter and reverse. We have got these terminus platforms down here as well. We don't have terminus platforms from the other direction anymore, but that's not a big deal. Have these been signalled? No. So eventually they will get signalled. I'm not going to do that tonight. I think it should be to the north of Dendstone rather than the south. Even though the south has a lot more space, it's harder to get the track to go over. Whereas in the north here, we've already got this line here, this line here, this line here. So it's not a huge deal to branch like another line off here and have it go straight on into a depot. I'm going to start clearing this site. Don't let me influence you guys though. If you want it somewhere else, feel free to say so. But I think, personally, I would choose this spot. But I want to hear what you guys think. I'll give you a minute. No one got anything to say? Really? No one at all? Wow, okay. Looks like a good enough site. Okay. Let's push ahead with it then. Actually, I'll go with the original plan, which is to do it here. Reason being is I can then add some waypoints here to help slow the trains down. I'm just going to add that little extra line there. Actually no, because we're never going to use that, are we? Not for that sort of thing anyway. I'm doing a really good job of talking to myself as usual. This is what I do all the time. When I'm recording the time lapses as well, I'm basically talking out loud to myself a lot of the time. Sort of explaining. Have you guys ever heard of the rubber duck debug method? It was a character in a book used this method. Basically, if you're a programmer and you're coming up with lines and lines and lines of code, and then there's an error message. I can't remember the name of the character or the book now, which is annoying. I've got it on my phone. I'll just check that. I think I've still got it on my phone. I hope I've still got it on my phone. Yeah. So it is a book called The Pragmatic Programmer, and I can't remember the character name, but the programmer would carry around a rubber duck, and they would debug their code by forcing themselves to explain the code line by line to the duck. So it doesn't have to be a duck, basically, it could be anything. But the idea is, by saying it out loud and explaining it, you might pick up on an error that you wouldn't otherwise catch. And it sounds stupid when you first say it. Oh, I'm just going to talk to myself whilst I'm doing this. But the difference it makes in terms of problem solving is colossal. Yes, that's exactly it, Chris. If you can explain it to someone else, this is what I used to do when I was at school as well. I used to explain, particularly in science lessons, one of the ways I would remember something was to explain it to someone else. And yeah, when it works, it works. And very rarely does it not work, in fact. When I developed my website last year for uni, I did a lot of talking to myself. I also did a lot of talking to my dad, because he helps me out with these sorts of things. It does make a big difference. Because then you spot something. And that's what you don't get when you're by yourself. Okay, I think this is too wide. I don't think we need it this wide. I think I'm going to cut this track and this track out of the equation. How long's that? 5. That'll do. And then we'll do the first set of crossovers here. So I'm using third rail electrification here at the moment. We're probably not going to end up doing this in the future though. Don't actually know, that's the thing. I don't really know yet what kind of trains we're going to be using down here. It very much depends on who ends up running the franchise. They'll basically dictate to me what kind of trains they want. It's kind of like writing an essay. That's a good analogy for it. Alright, here we're going to have another set of tracks. And I know this depot site is starting to look big. Believe me, they can look a lot bigger on my networks. We'll do something like that. We'll put one of these in there. I think that'll do for a set of junctions. And then here, these are all down the same length, aren't they? Yep. So we'll go one more. Like that. And then over this side is where the actual depot is going to be. Probably that wide. Something a bit like this. Yeah, something a bit like this. And then we'll do some more crossovers like this. I should probably put like a flyover in somewhere. I might do that down here. Yeah, we'll see about that. And then we'll do this and this and this. Over on this side we'll put one like that, and we'll do this. Yeah, pretty much like that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, come on, 10, 11. So this is kind of a new design that I've been trialing out, where actually we could probably cheat on this one a little bit. So it starts off with one track and then it can grow. Oh, that's a point. These trains here might want to get over like so. Same with this one. We'll let it do that. So it starts with one track and then it branches into, in this case, 4, and then that branches again into 5 or 6, and then that will then branch out into the main section of the depot. That's the plan. I mean, it does do that. I don't know why I said that. It does. It definitely does what I just said it does. The plan bit is it's got to do with vehicle distribution. So it's trying to split it as much as possible without one direction clogging up any of the others. And that's the bit where it becomes a bit more theory based, because there's no real way to prove one way or the other if it works, unless you actually start running trains on it, of course, which we will be doing very shortly indeed. Okay, so I don't think we need any waypoints over here now, so I could have built the junction over here, but stuff it, we've done it now. So the first thing we do is here we place some waypoints. Let's see. Oh, I could just do it like I've done it. I'll just do it like I've done it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Staggered. I like it. So if it comes out of here at 15 miles an hour, or 10 miles an hour, probably 10, maybe 15, probably 15, 25, 35, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 45, 55. I think we'll just run them at 55 down here. And then it will go into here, and then it will go back down to what, 45, 35, 25, 15 if it's going into the terminus platforms, for example. Maybe higher if not. So that's all good. We don't need to name any of these yet, because we're not going to be adding them to speed limit sheets. It's pretty much a depot standard that I use. You'll be pleased to know that now we're going to start adding some trains. So let's just randomly decorate this. Put one there, we'll put one there. And we'll call this Retbourne Bridge Cross Country Motive Power Depot. Alright, now I'm going to save, and then we'll get the first train out. So what stock should we use for this service? What kind of trains should we get out? Thinking maybe sprinters. Something pretty nippy. Bearing in mind these are going to be going maybe 90 miles an hour. There we go. A little bit of peace of mind there. So in theory, trains here can go from this line right the way across to this line. But I would rather they didn't do that. But it does happen from time to time. Let's select this. I'll pin it and move it over here. How much of the screen can you guys actually see? Just realised like half of what I was doing has probably just been covered. Oh well. And you know what? Right now, I'm going to de-electrify all this. Just the depot though, not the tracks. So I'll leave this bit probably. I'll have to separate the tracks a little bit. There. So yeah, what kind of stock should we have? I have an idea myself. It'd be something down to about this. What year were you introduced? 1989. So nothing south of this, basically. No Southwest turbos, no Chiltern turbos, no Caradia or Adelante or anything like that. No, 2005. Too late. Just realised. Don't think that reset it properly. Maybe it had. How's that possible? Hang on a second. Yeah, you're all done. No one got any ideas? I just have to do it myself. Honestly. Whenever there's a decision to be made, suddenly people disappear. So yeah, none of this stuff. I don't know why this is appearing when these aren't electrified depots. It's a bit concerning. I think I might go with the express sprinters. 3 car, 207 passengers. It's not a huge amount, actually. You can hold 232, but you can't go anywhere near fast enough. I'm going to avoid HSTs because they're going to be for the cross-country rather than cross-region. So I think we'll just go with the express sprinters. Oh, do you have the right livery? You do not. Do you have the right livery? You also do not. So wait, what have I been using? Oh, we could do loco hauled. Thinking about it, we could use the Cromptons. Now these ones, it says push-pull haulage. But what does that actually... What is it compatible with? Because I've tried this before. Does it work with these? Aha, push-pull haulage. So let's go with that. So what's your capacity? Pretty high. Let's do this for the first train. We have to repaint you into BR blue with headlight, might as well. And then the passengers will do BR blue also with headlight. Now, I wonder if this works. How cool would that be? Okay, the minimize doesn't work. What does that look like in? Looks nice, but I'm going to go with this. Push-pulls are fantastic. The fact that we still use them in this country as well, although they are 91s and they are going out of fashion, but the Chiltern trains use them. Da 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 da. Ignore my stupid noises. Again, I do this all the time when I'm placing trains, so I don't forget what I'm doing. I think here we only need to go down to 35 miles per hour. So I think I only have to go here and here. and then into Dendstone Carneige. You are going to be unload, no loading. Both of these are going to be middle. We'll pin this as well. Here's where the conditional order is going to go. Jump to there if reliability is more than 20. And then you are going to be no unloading, no loading. You are going to be no unloading, no loading. You are going to be service. At the bottom here, oh, we've already done it. That's good. Okay, now we can start placing the train. So, go back to service schedules. This is going to be 9AXX. So it's going to go Dendstone Carnegie, Sluntown and Ponfing Bridge is the next stop. But before we do that, we've got to get you up to line speed. So that's where the waypoints come in. Now I'm hoping we don't hit the order limit. I would be quite surprised if we did. Because apart from the stops, like the big stops, Buntbourne, Cadingbury, stations like that, we're not actually slowing down much. So I will use these little waypoints here as well so we can cross over into the station. So we're already up to 40 odd. The single decker push-pull IC trains here currently operate in places where the DVT can't actually be used, so they just do a loco on either side, even though it's still got the DVT at one end too. It's annoying when things like that happen, but it's smart, the solutions they come up with. We don't stop here, do we? No, so the next stop is Heninghall East. Do we slow down for Heninghall East? We probably do. I'll do it here. If we don't, I'll change it so that we do. And then here, where it's going to be a non-stop via. So I think it's on the Cumbrian coastline in the UK, and I think somewhere in Wales as well. They used to do push-pull Class 37s, where they had one on each end of the train. That must have sounded amazing. I don't know whether they both were used at the same time, or whether it was just whichever one was at the front was the one that was fired up. But can you imagine the colossal noise coming from that? That must have been pretty cool. Gradtown next. And then One Town, which is all the way up here. And now we branch off. So we're up to 58. And it's only really at these ends where we're using a lot of waypoints. Do we stop at Mundington? Yes, we do. Mundington, sorry, not Mundington. And then we don't stop at Buntford. No. But I'm kind of thinking we should. Do you know what? I'm going to. Let me add that in now before I forget. So after Mundington, we stop at Buntford. Got to do this as well. 33. This is how I calculate all my trains and stuff like that. How many we need. Saw a 37 pass through Manchester last week. Amazing noise. Yeah. This is why I get upset about things like the HSTs. I'm not particularly a fan of HSTs. I kind of want to put that on the record. I'm not a big fan of diesels in general, but you've got trains like the 37s and, you know, the 56s, I think, and the 20s. You know, trains that are much, much older than HSTs. and they're still in relatively active service. And yet HSTs, people sneer at them and just go, oh, it's an HST, it's old. But it's not bloody old. Not that old anyway. What was it, 30 years, 40 years now? It's not that old in the grand scheme of things. I get very touchy about that sort of thing, because it's just people's opinions. Too many opinions these days are formed into facts, and that doesn't necessarily make them right. Right, so this is the big slowdown. Why is that? Oh, I missed up some R's. That's fine. Cadingbury Junction. Now before I go on, was it just this one? There we go, Cadingbury. Fixed. So then out of Cadingbury, we're heading towards Buntbourne. How long have I been streaming for, by the way? 2 hours. Bloody hell. I think this will be the only train we'll get in tonight then. We'll do all the speed limits and stuff though to make up for that. We did actually used to have a bunch of fun configurations that you can end up if you couple. Yeah, I've seen pictures of this. So you'd have like a push-pull unit with a loco at the end, and then you'd put another push-pull unit with a loco at the end, so that there's a loco just randomly in the middle of the train. I've seen, yeah, I saw photos of that. I think it was in my Railway magazine. I don't know. I mean, they're kind of... Isn't it the case in the Netherlands that... so it's not like what we have over here where a DVT can be coupled to any configuration of carriages. Sometimes, not just in the Netherlands, but mainland Europe, they have like semi-permanent sets. And that's why they end up doing that. So even the loco is kind of part of that semi-permanent set. So that's why they're a bit reluctant to like separate them. And it also means if the train splits at any point during the journey, then you can power both ends of the unit. But yeah, I find it quite smart the way they do it. Okay. Buntbourne. Tick. I'm going to be watching this service like a hawk when it first sets off, because not having waypoints on some of these tracks does worry me slightly. They basically operate as EMUs. Yeah. Yeah. Even modern day multiple units still sometimes operate on like a push-pull. Or what people think is a modern day multiple unit is actually a push-pull system. I used to think Class 91s were an EMU. That was me as a kid, mind, so you have to factor that in. East and west. Where are we going? Monningpool Falls. It's not good when you forget things like that. Gerinham's Cross. And then up here. There we are. And then we'll pass into Fort Flonwood Parkway. And then out again. Again, I can't remember if I've actually done the signalling for this yet. I've always found Dutch trains fascinating. Is it the buffaloes they're called, or the bisons? Sorry, not buffalo. Just the design of that. When I went to the Netherlands a few years ago, I really wanted to see one, just to see how, because it's, for us as Brits, it's a very unusual design. Most people in Europe are used to it, but for us that was a really weird design for a train. But it's a practical one, and it actually, I mean, they don't look ugly, to be fair. They look quite nice. They're not ugly trains by any stretch of the imagination. Alright, we are an all-stopper down this section. We're not changing tracks here. Oh, do we slow down here? I don't know. There's waypoints on the build-up, but not on the out. I'm going to assume that we do. So maybe if the speed limit here is 60, which I think it is, then 50, 40, that should be enough. What I don't know though is why there isn't waypoints on this side. Oh, we are turning off here. What am I doing? I'm getting confused. I'm getting old. Now this is one, I think I have done these signals. Oh, I haven't. Oh god, okay. Do that quickly. This is the only one now where I'm worried about if it goes the wrong way it can cause major problems. If entry direction is from the back, then if next order is that, then allow. And you do that. Right, where do we get to? Okay, now we're approaching. Do we stop here at Heninghall East? Yes. Yes, we do. So in terms of orders, we're still coming in currently underneath. We're getting kind of close. We should be fine. We should be fine. The bison and the buffalo are fantastic pieces of design, I find. The buffalo did, however, retire just under 2 years back, as we ran out of diesel track to use them on. What a nice problem to have, though. Over here, we're getting all kinds of bollocks, like, oh, bi-mode is the future. Whereas everywhere else in the world is just electrification. Everywhere. It's because we're cheap and stingy, that's why we're not doing it. I believe it's 30 miles an hour the speed limit through here. And then we go 40, 50, 60, 70, I guess. Do we stop at Renly? We don't, do we? So now, the next stop after Gronville West is Plunningville, which is up here. Then skip out Kethill. The next one is Brinbourne. Now I believe, let me select this quickly. Yeah, Brinbourne North is part of the slowdown. Thought it might be. Which means this station is as well, Flonwood. And then these. We're actually getting quite close to the order limit. Damn it! How close was that? Alright, we'll skimp. Where is Brynborn North? There. Yeah, this is one of the problems, is the order limit is, for me, my opinion, the order limit is way too low. 256 is very low for something like this. Hydrogen power is fine. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's a innovative thing that we should be looking at. What I just don't like is the fact the government keep trying to skimp out on electrification by saying things like, you know, bi-mode, but then they outlawed it. By 2040, no diesel trains in the UK. That ain't gonna happen now, is it? No way in hell that's gonna be achievable now. Let's set this to 120. We'll change all the stop times in a second, although one I will do is this, because this isn't affected by anything else. In terms of speed limits, this is going to be hell on earth doing this bit. In the long run, conventional electrification is actually quite economical on any routes with something like a half-hourly frequency. Yeah, you're spot on. The thing that people higher up don't understand about electrification is it's not so much a cleaner energy source. It's also faster acceleration, regenerative braking, things like that. It makes a massive difference. Even battery power I'm in favour of. I just don't like the idea of bi-mode. I'm going to set the speed limit all across the board to 90. And then we'll change these. So we'll go 10, 20, and 10. And then out of here, 15, 20, 25, 35, 45, 55, 45, and 35. That's us into Dendstone now. And then coming out of Dendstone we can go 35, 45, 55. Ignore the 3996. That's a graphics bug. Graphics bug / glitch. 65. 75. Bi-mode is good in theory. We should have introduced bi-mode 10-15 years ago, because if we're outlawing diesel trains by 2040, that means any bi-mode train built in the UK over the next few years will only have a service life of 20 years before it either has to be converted or scrapped. So what are you? You're 75. Is that right? 35, 45, 55, 65, correct? 75, 65, 55. That's where I got confused. And then here, 55, 65, 75, and then all along this bit, it's 75. Until we get to here. So into Drenning Head it's going to be 55. Which means you are 65. Is it diesel only? Originally, when I read it, it said any train powered by diesel, which includes bi-mode and diesel electrics as well. Because they're doing it with cars too. They're banning diesel cars. What am I? Oh yeah. I'm getting confused because I keep looking at the screen. This is where my process slows down a little bit, because normally when I'm doing this off camera, I'm just doing it. But I like being able to answer questions whilst I'm doing it. 55, 45. So it's this curve here that has to be taken at 35 miles per hour. And then you are 45, 55, 65, and then out of here 75, 85, and 90. And then you stay 90 all the way to here. You then go 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, and 30. And now 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and then 90. Here's one of my complaints about OpenTTD. I really wish it was possible that I could just do the speed limits in one direction only and it would copy and paste it onto the other. Because a lot of this is mirrored, essentially. In fact, it's all mirrored. How much easier would that be? Because at the moment I keep thinking, oh, I'm at Buntbourne already, I'm almost there. But this is just in one direction. Then got to do it all the way back in the other direction. Although once you get your rhythm, it can be a lot faster. You can set trains up to be cheaply and easily convertible. It's one of the things that Viva Rail do with their trains that I'm a big fan of, is they're modular. So you can literally, the battery pack is the same size as the diesel generator, which is the same size as the hydrogen generator. They're all going to be the same size, so you can swap one out for the other, and you don't have to reconfigure anything on the train. You can literally, say, a really bad example, but say a D train arrives at King's Cross. Underneath the train they can take out the diesel generator, put in a battery, and boom, it can head straight off again. That is genius. Voyagers are easily convertible to electric. The Stadler, GTW and Winks that run on some of the regional lines not operated by NS have these power packs that can be easily changed out from diesel to HVO. Yeah. See, politics. It's always politics. 30, 40, 50. This one's 60. 70. I hate politics. They ruin railways for everyone. They always mess it up. ET 70 60 50 40 and 30, and then coming out of Fort Flonwood Parkway it's 30 40 50 60 70. Is that the top speed? Let's just check. 30 40 50 60 70. So this one above here should also be 70. It's not. 75. Or maybe go 80. 70. Yeah, okay, that works. And then coming out of Fort Flonwood Central, 30 40 50 and 60, and we can stay there until we get to Ardington, where we drop to 50 40 so hang on, it's this one where it drops to, I will just do it to 30, stuff it, and then out of Ardington we'll then go 40 50 and 60, and then 60, and then 50 40 30. Right, now I need to refer to the speed limit sheet for the Great Western because I cannot remember how fast trains come out of Woolworth. Oh, it's 45 out of Woolworth. I don't think we'll be able to reach that speed now. I suppose what I could do is here, instead of it being 30, I'll do 35. And then out of Woolworth we can do 45, 55, 65, 75. You are the only one, George. That might be why. Yeah, I don't have any other... Well, I've got Ben. Ben supports me on Patreon as well, but he didn't want to get involved with this, which is fine. Each their own. So Granville Junction East 1, then we go down to 65. 55. 45. But yeah, that's a very good point. Anyone who wants to own a franchise, you can support me on Patreon. Link is in the description. There's lots of different tiers. You don't have to feel like you have to do the highest tier. You can do the lowest one if you like. But tier rewards are based on pledges, so bear that in mind. $65. 75. And then we can stay at 75 until we get to Brynborn, and then out of Brynborn it's going to be 65, 55, 45, 35, 25. Whoops. 25, not 15. 24. I can't even. Oh, just everything. 15. Halfway, people. Halfway. How long's it taken? Half an hour. 15. At least I can scroll this down. It's one of the things about having a 4K monitor. Is I can put that there. And I can do that. It's a long way to go down now, though, to click on things. 25. 35. 45. 55. 65. And 75. But yeah, if anyone wants to know what the tier rewards are, George is a good person to ask because he is a patron. He's on the second highest tier as well, so you also get your own flair on the it used to be on the Reddit and the Discord. Now it's just the Discord because the Reddit stopped supporting it. It's a bit of a shame, but what can you do? 55. 45. 35. This is kind of home stretch now, as far as I'm concerned, the way I do it. So I get into my rhythm and I can memorize what the speeds were. So this one here is 75. And then 75 again. I keep asking, every week I ask about custom liveries and no one really has an answer, or no one answers is the answer there. So I don't know if it's possible, but if it is, I'd like people to design their own liveries for their trains as well, for their franchises, and their own logos, because I can throw all that onto the website and into the game and things like that. I think that would look really, really cool. What are you? You're 65. I want people to feel like they're part of this. And I think one of the best ways for that is, as well as just me saying, you know, this was designed by such and such, it'd be really cool to actually have their logo there as well. Uh, 55 and 65. Wait, was I working? No, I was working on 60s here, wasn't I? Okay, I haven't completely memorized it. Do you? I've not seen it yet. 50. Wait, what was the speed limit here? Rodington. So, going into Rodington, speed. I was 30. That's alright then. I got worried for a second. Thought I'd messed up. Well, we've not quite reached it. So, out of Rodington, you should be 40. You should be 50, which you are. Good. And then you should be 60. So now you are 30. If you've got plans and logos and stuff, there's only one way for me to know about it, and that's for me to see it. 40. 50. I can almost scroll down to the bottom. 60. And then it's 60 all the way along. God, I've got so many messages to read on Facebook after this. The guys always seem to get really chatty when I'm streaming. It's almost like they know. Okay, now we're on the home stretch because I can scroll down to the bottom here. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, and 30. Into Fort Flonwood Parkway. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and then 90, and we can stay at 90 all the way down to here. 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, and 30. Into Buntbourne, and then out of Buntbourne. What's the highest and lowest rail speed limit you have on any parts of the network? Highest on the conventional rail is 250, no, 150, 250 on the high speed. Highest speed on the network overall is 350 on the Transrapid. The lowest is 10 miles an hour in and out of any depots. The average is somewhere between 75 and 90. Mm, 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80. And then we can let it go for a bit until here. 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, and 30. Out of Cadingbury. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80. And then we can stay there until we get to Fort Mason, where we can then go 80. Say it with me, people. 70, 60, 'Wait, how does this... So hang on, between Mondington and Buntford it's 35. Then after Buntford, it's 45. Then it's 55. Then it's 65. Then here it's 75. And then here it's 85. And then here it's 90. I think that's how it was. So then out of Mondington it's 45. 55. 65. And 75. Do you ever enforce any road speed limits? Currently that means placing a lot of stations or using not road types, which probably requires a new map if you already have modded roads. Yeah, so around Gardcity, top speed is 30 miles an hour, as it would be in the city. It goes up to 70 miles an hour on motorways, so the Gardcity Orbital will have a speed limit of 70. And then in and out of depots I have a bus stop that I use as a waypoint that slows them down from 30 to 10. That's what, you're 75 as well. As you can see, we are very close to the end now. I kind of anticipated this would be the boring part where people would sort of drop in and out of the stream. I expected it. That's the thing. I expected it. Not many people are interested in this side of things. I'm not particularly interested in the doing of this side of things, but I'm interested in the result of the doing of this side of things, if that makes sense. 75. 75. 65. And there's one more thing we've got to do once we've finished doing all these speed limits. It's the reason I do the speed limits first. It's because the second bit isn't quite as hard. 65. 75. 65. 55. 45. And then into Dendstone at 35. Out of Dendstone at 35. 45. 55. Was it 55 I stayed it at? Stayed it at. That's not a word. It's not a sentence. What am I doing? What am I talking about? 10. 20. 10. And then out of here 15. 25. 35. Now this should be 45. That's how we know it works. Whew! Have you ever been forced to do something in an unrealistic manner? If so, can you please give me some examples? These questions. I feel like I'm in a survey. It's the phrasing of the question more than anything. I don't mind answering these questions, but it just, you know, it feels like an exam kind of question. So yeah, when have I been forced to do something in an unrealistic manner? Over by Gardcity Punfingford Airport, there wasn't enough space to put all the waypoints in that I needed for the Gardcity Punfingford Express. So it jumps up in 20 mile an hour sections rather than 10. I consider that to be unrealistic, in inverted commas, even though it isn't really, in all honesty. Besides that, no. The high speed, I'm probably going to have to do the same thing. Jump it up in either 20 mile an hour bits, or just have one waypoint that takes it from like 30 miles an hour up to 130 miles an hour. But the train's natural acceleration is fine. I'll still do the 10 mile an hour increments to slow it down, but to speed it up, it's not that big an issue. But besides that, no, I can't really think of anything. Like, the whole network has been built with realism in mind, so that's why it's not that big a deal. Training head. So what I'm doing now is I'm going through and adding all the stop times. One town, was that a special one? No, so the next one is Bathurst Street, where it stops for 2 minutes. But this one's quite easy, because you just find all the ones where it says 0, and then you change those, and that's it, you're done. So you are 1,200. Your normal, you are 1,200. You are 1,200. Don't be put off by asking questions, by the way. I don't want to put people off asking questions. I just pointed that out. It just felt like an exam. You know, that typical thing of, if so, please list some examples. Nothing wrong with that, though. Nothing wrong with that. So after Woolworth, oh yeah, Gronville is also going to be a 5-minute stop. And then right the way up to Monningpool Falls, where it's going to be 10,800. See what I mean by how easy this is. And then coming back, Gronville, 5 minutes. Woolworth, 5 minutes. Fort Flonwood, 5 minutes. Both Fort Flonwoods, 5 minutes. And then Buntbourne. Are there only 2 minutes down here that I've missed? Oh, Gronville's only a 2. Whoops, we'll change that. Gronville. So you are only 480. And you are only 480. Okay, where were we? Buntbourne, Cadingbury, there's Cadingbury, then it's Bathurst Street, where it's 480. Then it is Drenninghead, where it's 480. And then it is Dendstone, where it is 10,800. And then right the way down here, where it's 7,200. Automate. Now, according to my little doohickey spreadsheet, it's telling me I need 7 of these trains just to get the service started. For those of you that don't know, you can't actually see the numbers here. Have you ever played OpenTTD, the base game? Very early on in the M4J, in fact the Jeffries network, as it was known back then. Yes, I have played the base game. Before I even started adding new GRFs, I did some streams way back. Way back when I very first started streaming. The first streams I did, OpenTTD was part of the game rotation that I had going at the time. But that was a long time ago now. That was a long time ago, like 4 or 5 years now, maybe even longer. Round about then. So yeah, I've experienced the base game. I don't really like the base game. No disrespect to the people who play the base game, but because I can't do the things that I like to do, it's just not for me. Right, so here's an ungrouped train. So this train here, number 137, this is now what I call our template train. So any other trains for the time being that will come in and out of this depot, I can copy all the speed limits and everything from this train. But only after it's completed at least one run of its timetable and has therefore picked up how long it takes to actually do each section of the run. Hopefully that makes sense the way I phrase it. It probably doesn't, but what can you do? Basically, once it's done one run through of its timetable, as well as knowing how fast to run between 2 points, it also knows how long it will take to run between those 2 points. In the future, if I scroll down, where's this cursor, to the train factories, or train depots, these are my template trains. So for example, Heninghall factory to GSG slow. Every time I have a train that starts at this depot and GSG is its first station, I can copy from this train because it has all of the speed limits, all of the stop times, and how long it takes to travel between these points. So even if the travel times here are now inaccurate, so if I have another train that can go faster than this, it doesn't matter because I get all the speed limits from here and all the stop times, and that's mainly what the template trains are used for. So I will have a template train for this depot eventually from here to Dendstone, but I can't do it yet because I need to get the base data from this first train. That's why I've not done it yet. So in terms of this train, I'm going to set up a new group and we'll call it cross country, like that. WX, so you're right down the bottom. Then we'll set up another new group called XRegion, like that. And then we'll set up another group called what should we? Cross country and cross region are both part of the same franchise. Originally the franchise was going to be called Cross Country, but I think it should be called something else. In real life, do services run one train for one cycle before introducing the rest of the trains together timetable/timing data? In real life, no. In real life, they do it all on a piece of paper or a computer screen these days. So they work it all out beforehand. They know how long journey times will take. The reason you can't do it on here because I don't have a scale. I don't know how long one tile is. Some people have speculated how long one tile is, but the scale of the game just does not work. So some people have said that one tile is 10 meters, I think. But on that logic, a 5-tile platform is only 50 meters long, and yet it can fit a 9-car train, which in real life is 100 meters plus. So the scale doesn't work. Whereas in real life, cross network, that's a good name. I like that. Cross network. This is placeholder names, by the way, because again, if you become a patron on Patreon, you get to choose the name of these things. So let's grab this train and we'll chuck it in a random group that's yet to be named, and we'll stick you in there, and then we'll rename you. But yeah, in real life, they know how long the distances are between stations, they know the acceleration rate of the train, they know the max speed of the train, and they can work out how long it will take to travel those distances. So it's all done way before the first train even runs, and then they'll go out and do some tests to make sure that it is actually plausible. So what's this? 9A AXX station codes. 1 second. It's really handy having this document, George. I'm so glad you made it for me. Come on. DEC. I nearly put DEN, but I knew it wasn't that. And Monningpool Falls should be MON. I'll check that. Yes. Alright, so this train now, in theory, is ready. Let me just resize this. So now I can clone this train. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's telling me to do 7 over. Again, I can't scroll so you can see it, but on this spreadsheet, I have an estimated number of trains and then an actual number of trains, which I calculate. I calculate them both differently, but both based off the same frequency. So this train runs every half an hour, or it will be once it's running, and I'll be watching it. I was originally going to end this stream by showing you guys the train on its first journey. However, this stream has been going for 3 hours now, and I need to go off and record some more videos and edit them ready for next week. So I think I'm going to have to cut the stream here, I'm afraid. But with the new sub-series, which hopefully is coming soon, I'm still looking for someone to do the maps for me. If not, I'll have to improvise. But I might do like a 0.5 episode as an introduction to the sub-series as well, just showing this train on its journey, because I think that'd be quite cool. So let me know if you guys want to see that. What would you consider the weirdest or strangest part of your network and of the UK rail network? The UK rail network, one of the things I've found strange is the situation in Worcester. So Worcester, Shrub Hill and Worcester Foregate. I think it's Worcester Foregate, it might be Shrub Hill. Someone will tell me, someone always tells me. But one of those stations has 2 tracks, 2 platforms, and yet each track is bi-directional, and it's not like there's an up line and a down line. One line goes towards one line goes towards Honeybourne and Gloucester and Oxford and places like that. The other line goes towards the Midlands, I think. So I've always found that weird that they've had these 2 tracks that for a couple of miles I think they run alongside each other, and yet they don't. There is a crossover, of course, but there's no upline downline in that little section. I've always found that strange. The old swing bridge in Norfolk as well, which I don't think exists anymore. I think they've taken it out of use, but there used to be a swing bridge in Norfolk, and I think boats did have priority, so trains would have to come to a grinding halt whilst a boat passes by. I always found that a little bit weird. On my network, see, that's a good question. It is Foregate. Thank you, Frank. Worcester Foregate. On my network, it's a good question. I suppose the little situation we've got over here, little things like a main line here, it's like a branch main line, but it just goes down to one track to cross a bridge. I'm actually going to change this because we're not modern enough yet for this kind of bridge. We'll go with a viaduct. Oh yeah, there's another unusual thing. I don't think this happens in the real network in the UK, but on my network over at Gardcity Punfingford Airport, and this is part of the waypoint issue that I was having. Let me scooch up here and I'll show you. So I've got this little section of 6 tracks, which is quite unusual in the real world. It doesn't happen very often. It just splits the City line trains from the rest of the line. In America, there used to be a 18-foot 8-inch bridge that is now 12-foot 4-inch. Are there any similar bridges in the UK? Oh, is that? Yeah, I saw about that. Someone posted it on Reddit the other day. It used to get hit a lot, and now hopefully it doesn't. Oh, there's loads. There's loads of bridges here in the UK that have low bridge signs and get hit all the time. Fortunately, I don't live near any. In Ely, there's on the north side of the station. There's a level crossing, and then there's a bridge, an underbridge. So they because Ely's such a busy station, the level crossing gets shut quite a lot to allow trains to pass. So they built this little dive under the tracks, but they only had enough space to build it for cars. So buses and lorries don't fit. So they still have to use the level crossing, except truck drivers that aren't used to Ely don't go to Ely very often. It's not that well publicised. So I imagine there's a lot of bridge strikes there. But yeah, this is the situation here at Punfingford. So this train is on the left-hand side, but it's actually leaving Punfingford and joining the main line down here at Chunnington. This is the section I was talking about with the waypoints. So from here, Chunnington, it goes to this waypoint and then immediately crosses over to the fast line. And that's where it speeds right up again. Is there more waypoints here? I thought there was more waypoints here. Let me just see how quickly. It might even be more than 20 miles an hour. So you are where? Here. So yeah, it comes out of Punfingford Airport T2 at 45 miles an hour, screeches round this corner, I might have to change that, into Chunnington, and then from Chunnington it goes up to 65, then it goes to 85, and then here it goes to 115, or 105 sorry, which is the line speed down this section. So yeah, that's one unusual bit. Right hand running as well. It happens a few times on the tube in real life, so White City on the central line, that's right hand running. I think it's London Bridge on the northern line is also right hand running. Embankment might be right hand running as well. And it's to do with where the tracks used to terminate and then they've built extensions, so it's made it right hand running instead of left hand running. So the one at Shepherd's Bush, White City, is a very interesting story. Londonist, Secrets of the Central Line, has a good diagram that explains how that came to be. But yeah, if no one else has got any more questions or comments or anything like that, we'll start wrapping up the stream. Have you ever had any of your streams cut or end abruptly without your notice? Yep. I had a power cut once, which cut the stream. I had my internet go down, which cut a stream. I think one of my PCs overheated once. That ended the stream. Little things like that. They're quite annoying. But it's why I encourage people to follow me on Twitter and Facebook and Reddit and things like that, because it's a very quick way to get messages out. So if a stream suddenly ends, I can quickly put a tweet out saying, sorry guys, wasn't my fault. So that's why I'm always telling people to follow me on social media. Not because I care about the numbers, but because I can get a message across quickly. Alright, I think we'll end the stream there, guys. It's been another good one. Part of the Victoria Line. Yeah, the Victoria Line is a rare example, though, because a lot of the stations where it interchanges with other tube lines, they actually used one of the old platforms from the old tube line and repurposed it for the Victoria Line. So Finsbury Park is a good example of that. The original, for those of you that don't know, the line to Moorgate used to terminate at Finsbury Park, and it used to be part of the Underground. And instead of coming up to surface level into the main Finsbury Park station, there used to be 2 platforms underground where it would terminate. When that stopped and they built the Victoria Line, in fact, I think it was when they built the Victoria Line they made that stop. So the trains used to terminate at Drayton Park instead of going on to Finsbury Park. But the Victoria Line and the Piccadilly Line heading southbound, I think it was, used the old Northern City Line. Is it called the Northern City Line? The Moorgate branch, anyway. The old Moorgate platforms at Finsbury Park were reused for the Victoria Line and the Piccadilly Line heading in one direction. And then the Piccadilly Line platforms, one of them was converted into a Victoria Line platform running in the other direction. So you have cross-platform interchanges then. It's really clever. They've done that a lot on the Victoria Line. But yeah, you end up with right-hand running because of that. Right, yeah. End the stream. So we've not had the influx of subscribers that we did last week, but I'm okay with that. I've enjoyed the stream tonight. I think it's been really good. You get a little bit of a glimpse into the behind the scenes now as to what goes on and why things take a long time to do. And I know it's not for everyone. I know this isn't the most fun thing in the world to be doing. But hopefully you guys, as I say, get a little look into what goes into this series. If you have any questions about the speed limits or the template trains or anything like that, you can comment below this video, or you can join my Reddit, or you can join my Discord and ask me in the M4J network chat. Anyone who's been on my Discord this week, especially in the last couple of days, you'll notice that there's a text chat for all my series now, except Planet Coaster. Actually, I need to add that one. So yeah, there's a good place to go and ask questions and share pictures and things like that. I'm really looking forward to that, by the way, because I keep plugging it and no one does it. If you've downloaded my map, or if you have your own map and you've got screenshots, feel free to share them on the Discord. That's what it's for. You don't need permission or anything like that, as long as it's not safe for work. So as long as it's a safe for work image, you can post it on the Discord. That's absolutely fine. And if you see anyone else online, feel free to say hi, get a conversation going, discuss ideas for your own little networks. That's what it's for. It's all about building the community. But yeah, thanks for coming in, guys. Thank you to George, thank you to Frank, to James, to Chris, to Chewin Smits. Anyone else was here tonight? I think that's everyone. Yeah, I think that's everyone. Thanks for coming in and chatting. It's been a really good stream in terms of the chat. Always like to see people chatting. Here's hoping next week is just as popular. Start of next week's stream. We do know what we're doing next week because I have planned it. Well, I can also mark off what I've done this week. Let me scroll down. So we've done those speed limits. Whoops. So we've done that. We've done that. We've done that. So next week we are continuing to build the new Southern Main Line towards Bruntford, and then if time permits, we'll plan services along that line as well. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the stream/video, and of course if you're enjoying the series. Drop some comments down below with ideas for future episodes. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you guys for your continued support. Thanks guys for coming in and chatting, and until next time, until next week, I will see you soon.